Yes. So does MERN stack really exist? Like you have, like if you have heard about this stack, uh, but what is this stack about? As far as I am very clear, this MERN stack does not exist. Okay, and why I am saying so, I will clear out in this video. So stay tuned. So what is this MERN stack? So actually this MERN stack is evolved from mean stack. Okay, so what is the mean stack? Hmm. So mean stack, just a minute. Yes. So this mean stack, yeah. So what is this mean stack? So mean stack was when it was coined, I guess almost more than 10 years back. So this is a decade old terminology. So it stands for MongoDB. Okay. Then E stands for Express and A stands for Angular and N stands for Node. Okay. Only thing which changed from mean to MERN is the addition of, or we can say the newly React framework, which is now very popular. So if I just copy this thing and say same thing here and just remove this Angular and say this is React, then it becomes your MERN, 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 popular known. But in reality, this name is not uh, really true. If you're aspiring to become one of this move to this stack, and companies are saying, okay, I want to hire for MERN stack, this name is not really what this stack stands to. Okay, so let me divide into this thing. So this is nothing but a full stack. In full stack, we have a front end, we have a back end. Let me divide this into two parts. Let me do like this. In front end, you have React. So in front end, we have React. And in back end, the language is nothing but the framework is Node.js actually. So the Node.js is the so it is simple. Front end is React, back end is Node.js. And this is nothing but your MERN stack. So if I say that if I have to define MERN stack, I will define like this. Okay, front end plus back end is MERN stack. Simple. So if you know React in front end and if you know Node.js in back end, you can suppose you are a MERN developer. Okay, or whatever the developer which company is looking for. Okay, as a MERN. So here, let's suppose. Yeah. So in front end, you only need to know React, nothing else, and that is the job of front end developer. But in backend, Node.js is like the backend, but actually in Node.js also we have in the backend we have different framework for making web APIs. We have a framework named as Express.js. So Express.js is a framework which is used to make REST API in Node.js. So what is Node.js? Node.js is nothing but we can run JavaScript in our backend. That is Node.js. Node.js is a like let's suppose you have to run Java. So you install Java, JVM, JRE, then only you can run Java in your backend. Similarly, to run JavaScript in your backend, the language is JavaScript. Okay, so run JavaScript in the backend, you need Node.js to be installed on your system. So Node.js is just a like you just think like it is just like a package which you have to install. But the framework which is used to making REST API is Express.js. Like you have to make some APIs which will talk with the front end. That is your Express.js. And the last part is the database. Okay, we all need a DB. Now, DB in most of the cases is a SQL based DB. So that is why I was trying to say this thing that most of the time it is SQL. MongoDB is not like you everywhere the MongoDB is used. It is not like that. Okay, so this name is contradictory because M stands for Mongo, correct? M, E, R, and N. Okay, so M stands for Mongo. This is the starting of that. You can see the this abbreviation, but M is not confirmed. Most of the company will use MySQL, SQL Server, somebody will use Postgres, different databases. Okay. So MongoDB is not a SQL based database. It is a NoSQL database if you know. So MongoDB is actually NoSQL database. So M is really not confirmed. But E is also not confirmed. Many companies can use a different framework in Node.js for REST API. Not necessary that every company will be using Express.js. Okay, so that's why it is not really true to say that this is the main framework and this is the final form, especially if you conform to this M. Okay, M stands for MongoDB, but if you see, it is not real. That is not the case in every company. So if you're learning, if you want to learn full stack development using JavaScript on this stack, so don't think that okay you have to learn MongoDB. It is not like that. It is nothing like that. With Node.js, you have to learn MongoDB. It is nothing like that. If you're learning Python, the database will be MongoDB. You don't know. It depends. But most of the cases, it is SQL based DB, like MySQL or Postgres or SQL Server. So with most of the popular framework will be like this. Python will be the language in the backend. They will, let's suppose, they will use Django, or they will use, let's suppose, Flask, and the database will be, in the most of the cases, it will be, the DB will be mostly SQL based, like MySQL, or I can say SQL Server or Postgres. Most of the cases, company will use this thing. Some company might use some NoSQL databases like MongoDB and other also is there, but most of the companies will go for this thing. Even so, let's suppose you go with Java. In Java, you have a Spring Boot. Okay, so if in Java also you have Spring Boot that is used for backend development for REST API. There also the database will be the same. If you go for let's say .NET, in .NET also we have, let's suppose, web APIs. Okay, there's a framework for making web APIs, but the database will not change. So what is my point? These all are used for backend development, correct? So backend development can be done in Python, it can be done in Java, it can be done in .NET, or it can be done in Node.js. Try to understand my point. Okay, so these are different technologies: Python, Java, .NET, and Node.js. So these technologies are independent of the database. It depends on the company, on the project. So it is wrong to say that okay, you are learning Node.js, so you have to learn MongoDB. No. So this is, I will just cross this thing. Don't relate these two things. Okay. It is nothing like that. You have to do this thing. Okay. Don't think like that. It is nothing like you have to do. Okay. So just okay. So this is I'm trying to relate here that Mongo is not compulsory MongoDB learning, and it is also not advice. I will always advise, if you are learning backend development for first time, first you learn SQL, like what is SQL Server, what is SQL based database, like what are those things, like how to write SQL queries. If you're comfortable in this thing, once you're comfortable, then only go for MongoDB and any other things. Okay, first you have to make your foundation right, and most of companies are not using MongoDB. They're using these databases. Okay, and that's why I'm saying even it changes. Stack is Node.js. Okay, Node.js or Express.js, whatever is there, making for REST APIs. No, no, this thing will not change. This will be common. Okay, some company may use Cosmos DB. Somebody can use some other thing, MongoDB, or somebody can use other things. These are all NoSQL databases. Okay, that is possible, but most likely they will use this thing first. Most of the companies will use this thing. So don't, I will say, be like, don't think like that, that okay, I'm learning MERN Stack, so I have to know MongoDB. It's not like that. Okay, and MERN Stack is more, it is not like a narrowly, I will say, in narrow sense it is defined, it's defined in broad sense. Like MERN Stack is more about React in front end and Node.js in back end. Simple. Somebody says, okay, I am from MERN Stack. So what does the company also implies that okay, you should know React and Node. That's it. Don't go with this M or E. That is fine. That is not important. These two is important. React and Node. So React in the front end, and so this thing is important. R stands for React, and N stands for Node.js. Okay. The framework can be Express.js. It can be some other things. Fine. That is fine. But the language will be Node.js, JavaScript. This is also JavaScript. This is also JavaScript. JavaScript in the front end, JavaScript in the back end. It may differ. Some company might use TypeScript, but TypeScript is nothing but like a subset of JavaScript only. Okay, so the language is common. So they will use JavaScript. Here also same, JavaScript, or they can use TypeScript in the front end, and they can also use TypeScript in the back end. So basically, this is actually, we can say, we can coin this as a modern developer. Okay, don't go with this thing. Okay, I have to learn MongoDB. No, no, it's not nothing like that. Okay, just think like this. Node.js development is nothing different from these technologies. Okay, here also you make REST API. In Node.js also you make REST APIs. You will need some database like SQL Server or Cosmos DB. It depends. But most of the company, again I'm repeating, will use this thing. This is, most company uses database as SQL based database. These are known as SQL based database, SQL based, and these are NoSQL databases. Like they don't use SQL. Okay, so yeah, so my point was that whenever you are like hearing of this thing, okay, don't blindly start learning MongoDB because you're learning no. Learn Node.js, learn MySQL, SQL, Postgres, whatever database, make REST API, then learn React, and then you can become a full stack developer. Okay. So even if we go for the job description, I have opened this jobs here. Okay, if let's suppose I'm searching for MERN jobs, what they are looking for. Let's suppose this is a full stack MERN. You can say full stack developer MERN. So you can say HTML, CSS, this Angular, React, and backend. If you see, backend is SQL, where they have written that it is MongoDB. Nothing. So if you see here, the backend is SQL. You can see this thing SQL. Okay, so this is nothing but just a minute. This is SQL. Okay, no, but nowhere you can see MongoDB. Okay, here if I go, if I see here again, okay, React.js, Node.js, TypeScript, JavaScript. Okay, these are the basic things, and you can't see MongoDB here. Okay, so it is not like mandatory. Okay, to learn MongoDB. Here also you can see MySQL Postgres. Okay, this is important. This, if you know don't know NoSQL, that is fine, but this you must know at least one of this. Okay, so always if you're starting as a full stack developer or a backend developer, please start with SQL based databases. Learn how to do that thing, designing database, REST API, and all those things. Then go for NoSQL and the advanced thing like MongoDB. Experience with MongoDB is a plus. That is a plus point. But first you have to learn. This is the basic thing. Don't skip the basic thing and move to the advanced part. This thing, the MongoDB. What is the advantage of using MongoDB? In which situation you are using MongoDB? It will be only clear if you first learn SQL. So if you learn SQL, then you can compare, okay, what is the advantage and disadvantage. But if you directly learn this thing, you'll never understand how this SQL works. And most of the company will look for this thing only. Okay. Don't believe me, you just do a search, and this you can go and search the job description. If you open any job description, you will come to know what the company is looking for. So if you open this thing here, okay, if I suppose I open this thing, mean month, whatever is there, okay. you can see MySQL, MongoDB. It is not saying that okay, you have to learn MongoDB, MySQL. So if you know MySQL, this is a very good thing. So I will suggest you to go with this thing. This is very good. Okay, so again I'm repeating. MERN Stack company doesn't mean, see here they have written mean MERN Stack, but they have not mentioned. Okay, both is M. M stands for MongoDB, but it doesn't mean they have to know MongoDB. So don't get confused. Okay, this stack means mean and MERN Stack means MongoDB. No, MongoDB is optional. If you know, because some company can use it, some company will not use it. Okay, but companies nowadays are using this term broadly. So what they mean is you are a full stack developer. Front end is either Angular and Node, Angular or React. Okay, and the backend is Node.js. That is common. Node.js. In the backend you have Node.js. Okay, so Node.js is the common thing. Correct. This is the main thing. So try to understand the stack. What is a stack? Front end also Node.js, front end React, and backend Node.js. That is the stack. So this is what they mean by MERN and mean. So that is why I title this video that this is misleading. This to say this MERN stack, does it really exist? Yes, it exists, but don't go by this name M. Okay, M. This is not important. Only this R and N is important. React in the front end, Node in the back end. So I hope you will get some information about if you're trying to learn this thing. You will get an idea what to do, and I will suggest you to learn. But yeah, don't blindly learn anything. If you go to an institute, they can say, okay, I will teach you MERN Stack, and I will teach you MongoDB. It is not right to teach you MongoDB in the starting if you don't know anything about databases. Sorry, backend development. First, you have to learn SQL development, then go for. Then, even if you don't do over MongoDB, it is completely okay. 70-80% company will work on SQL database only. So majority of the jobs will ask you MySQL, and you have to be good in one thing. No, don't try to learn everything. Then you don't get anything. So first learn basics, then go for advanced things or optional things. So with this, I'll stop the video. Hope you will get good information and it will help you. So thank you and bye.